Hi, today our topic is tuberculosis. Okay, we know that tuberculosis is a very fatal disease which is a contagious disease, and here we call this as a chronic granulomatous disease, and it is a bacterial infection which is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This Mycobacterium tuberculosis organism will usually affects the lungs. Actually, this tuberculosis can affect any part of the body, but it mainly an infection of the lungs. When we compare to the worldwide, the 1/3 of the world population is affected with tubercle bacilli, and this TB is caused by infection with as we know that Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And if we see here, this Mycobacterium tuberculosis will only infect humans, and the next one, if you see the Mycobacterium bovis, if you see this one, it will affect the animals. So this is the difference between these two. Humans will be affected by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and animals will affected by the causative organism known as Mycobacterium bovis. Other than these two organisms, what are the other organisms? Means Mycobacterium africanum. These three are the mostly seen organisms, and but here when compared to these three organisms, 99% of the all the world population is affected with Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it is a one of the gram positive bacteria, and if you see this the term tuberculosis means tubercle means nothing but a round nodule or swelling, and oocyst means it is a condition where we can see a round nodule or swelling, which is known as tuberculosis. And if you go for the classification, there are two types of classifications, that is pulmonary tuberculosis and extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Pulmonary tuberculosis means we know that the name itself, it defines that the bacterial infection of the lungs. So what are the symptoms we are observing in the pulmonary tuberculosis? Means everything related to chest pain, breathlessness, night sweats or weight loss, etc. So this is about the pulmonary tuberculosis. And what is extrapulmonary tuberculosis? Extrapulmonary tuberculosis means it is nothing but the TB outside of lungs, means other than lungs, every part wherever it is infecting, every part except lungs is defined as extrapulmonary tuberculosis. And what are the parts it is included? Means if it is affected with if it is affecting any lymph nodes, means that is we'll call that as a tuberculosis lymphangitis. That is lymph node TB, pleural TB, and TB of upper airways, that is upper respiratory tract. Skeletal TB and genitourinary TB means nothing but which is affecting the renal system. And miliary TB, pericardial TB, gastrointestinal TB means abdominal related to abdominal pain, and tuberculosis meningitis. This is very we know that most of us are familiar with this term, and there are very few less common forms also. So this is about the classification of the tuberculosis. So what is the spread of the TB? How it is spreading from one person to the another person? Means as it is a contagious disease, it can spread when a person infected with tuberculosis. If the person's droplets, when these droplets enters into the air, or if these droplets are in contact with the other person, then he is more prone to get prone to attack with tuberculosis. So here is you can see here, coughing without covering the mouth. These droplets can cause the other person means can these are the source of getting TB. And when these patient, you can see this, assume he as a patient, and if he is, when he is traveling with any crowded place with very poor ventilation or without safety measures and spitting everywhere, these are the general risk factors of getting another person, getting infecting the healthy person. So this is the spread of tuberculosis. And what are the symptoms? If we say symptoms, persistent cough, continuous cough and chest pain, and sometimes cough with a bloody sputum, shortness of breath, we know that breathlessness, and urine discoloration, means fluids, discoloration of the fluids, cloudy and reddish urine, fever with chills and fatigue. These are the severe symptoms which the patient may experience. So what is the pathogenesis? How it is entering into the body, how it is growing in our body. If you see here, first exposure to the source, means source means that is nothing but a Mycobacterium tuberculosis, or means either may be organism or either may be from the another infected person. So when we are exposed to the source of TB, it enters into the acrylization of the droplet nuclei. Acrylization means nothing but this droplet nuclei will be carried on to the air, means that is into the aerosol. Acrylization means nothing but carrying from one place to another place, that is into the air. So after these droplets enters into the air, when we inhale these bacteria, after inhalation of these bacteria, the bacteria directly it reaches to the lungs and they enter the macrophages. So what happens after these bacteria entering into the macrophages means these bacteria will multiply in the macrophages. So it keep on doubling the number of the bacterial cells. So after development of or after multiplication of the bacteria in the macrophages, it begins to form some granulomatous lesions. The lesions will form in the after multiplication of the bacteria, and here it causes a caseous necrosis. Caseous necrosis means nothing but it is a degeneration of the cells, means cell death. We call this type of it is a type of cell death where the tissue will remain as a cheese like appearance. We can see the cheesy like appearance of tissues. And after degeneration means after formation of the granulomatous lesions, these lesions may be either it may calcifies or it may liquefies or it may remains in the sputum. What is calcification and what is liquefaction? We know the terms. Calcification means nothing but solid material or becoming hard. Liquefaction means nothing but becoming liquids. So the same terms will apply here. The bacteria cease to grow. Cease to grow means it stops to grow in some conditions. These are the three conditions. What happens if the bacteria in first condition, you can see the bacteria cease to grow. Immediately after the bacteria stops to grow, the lesions will calcify. Means nothing but the lesions will become hardened, so that it cannot enter into the any of the organisms, because as it is not entering into the blood, means it is now in a solid state, it is in hardened stage. So what happens if the lesions calcifies means there is a risk of reactivation. The risk of reactivation will increase. If it is reacted, then it directly enters into the latent phase. There are two phases, that is initial phase and latent phase. Initial phase is nothing but it lasts for 2 months, and if the patient enters into the latent phase, it lasts for 4 months. So total duration of the TB is 6 months. In that, latent phase is 4 months and starting initial phase is 2 months. If the bacteria means if the lesions calcifies, it reactivated and again it enters into the macrophages for multiplications. So again the bacteria may grow in the body. So what happens if the lesions liquefies? What happens if the lesions liquefies instead of calcifies means after liquefaction of the lesions, these lesions will directly spread to the lungs, blood and other organs, and it will affect the entire organ system. So finally it leads to the death. And sometimes the bacteria may also end up in the sputum itself. So this is about the pathogenesis of tuberculosis, means how it is entering into the body and how it is causing harm to the person. So if you see what are the types of TB, as I told you, pulmonary TB means it affects the lungs. In this pulmonary TB, we can see the primary tuberculosis and secondary tuberculosis. Primary tuberculosis means it is nothing but a condition where the person is not at all infected, means he is not having any previous infection or previous immunization for the TB. So we call this person as a primary tuberculosis or Gons complex or childhood tuberculosis. And what is secondary tuberculosis means it is nothing but the patient is already infected with the TB or already immunized with this vaccination or TB. So this is called secondary or post primary or reinfection. That is nothing but it will enter into the, we can also call this as a latent tuberculosis also, and chronic tuberculosis. So extrapulmonary tuberculosis, as I told you, other than lungs, what are the organs it the tuberculosis organism is affecting other than lungs? This is known as extra tuberculosis. 20% of patients of TB patients are affected in these types of affected sites in the body, or lymph node TB. Lymph node TB means nothing but we'll call that as tuberculosis lymphadenitis. Why we are calling as lymphadenitis means the TB microorganism is affecting the lymph node. So it is frequently seen in HIV infected patients. And what are the symptoms we are seeing means swelling of the lymph nodes, which is a painless swelling, most commonly at cervical and supraclavicle region. We call this supraclavicle as scrofula. So what about the pleural TB means it involves there is an involvement of pleura, which is common in the primary TB. And if you go for the next one, that is a TB of upper airways. Upper airways means nothing but upper respiratory tract system. Means what is the parts involved in the upper respiratory tract system means larynx, pharynx, epiglottis, like that. So these parts are involved in this TB of upper airways, which is affected by the tuberculosis. So what are the symptoms here? Dysphagia, chronic productive cough are the symptoms. And genitourinary TB, which is related with the renal system. 50% of all extrapulmonary cases are seen in this condition, and any part of the urinary tract will get affected. Symptoms include urinary frequency, dysuria and hematuria. So what is skeletal TB means involvement of the weight bearing parts like spine, hip and knee. So our entire body is based on the backbone, that is spinal cord, and our hip bones and knee joints. So symptoms includes a pain in the hip joints and knees and swelling of knees and trauma. Gastrointestinal TB means nothing but which involves the entire GIT. Any part of GIT can be infected by this TB. Abdominal pain, diarrhea and weight loss can be seen frequently. And TB meningitis means most of the patients will be infected with meningitis. So it results from the hematogenous spread. And TB pericarditis, it is seen in all extrapulmonary TB cases. So miliary or disseminated TB means it is nothing but hematogenous spread of tubercular bacilli, and this spread is due to entry of infection into the pulmonary vein. So lesions are different extrapulmonary sites. And less common, what are the other less common means, it is fan of thalamitis and painful hypersensitivity related tricentricular conjunctivitis. These are the less common pulmonary TB, very less common pulmonary TB conditions. So what is diagnosis? If you go for the diagnosis, first we'll go with the bacteriological test, that is nothing but the blood test. In blood test we know that Zell-Nielsen stain, it is a acid base stain, acid fast stain. This acid fast stain, it is mainly used to identify the type of organisms, means it can this stain can identify the Mycobacterium species organisms. So we will use this type of test. So sputum culture test, we know that, and here Lowenstein-Jensen solid medium, this is all, and liquid medium and agar medium. These are the types of mediums and stains which are used to identify the Mycobacterium species organisms. And next one, radiography. We know that radiography, it is used, chest x-ray is used to diagnose how the patient is infected, means how extent he is infected. In here we can see this is the healthy patient x-ray and this is the infected patient x-ray. Here this white part is indicated as the patient is infected. Everywhere in x-ray we can see, if it is if we can observe any white shades, means that is patient is having any infection or any affected any some type of infection is in the lungs. And nucleic acid amplification, if you see, this is a species identification of species which takes several hours, and the most disadvantages is it is low sensitivity and high cost. So most useful for rapid confirmation of TB in persons with AFB. AFB means nothing but acid fast bacilli. AFB positive sputum and utility. Here next, if we go for tuberculin skin test, that is nothing but tuberculin skin test means here we can inject a fluid into the skin, and after we can check for the we have to wait for the reaction for 48 to 72 hours. After later then we can check for the reaction. So diagnosis is based on the size of the wheel. This here in these images you can find this. They are injecting and marking this area. So based on this marking area, how extent the wheel is produced. Based on the size, we can determine whether the patient is whether the person is having TB or not. So how we will interpret the tuberculin test? If the wheel size, means if the round size is less than 6 mm, means the interpretation is negative. Negative means nothing but the patient is not infected with TB. And action is previously unvaccinated individuals may be given BCG provided there are no contraindications. And 6 mm or greater than but less than 15 means 6 mm or below 15 mm, means what is the interpretation we used to do, means hypersensitivity to tuberculin protein, maybe it may be due to previous TB infection or BCG or exposure to any other atypical mycobacteria. So it should not be given BCG. Why it should not be given BCG means, if the patient is given BCG vaccination, definitely he may get positive for the tuberculin test. So the positive of the tuberculin test, it may be due to BCG vaccine or maybe of infection with the TB. So when the patient is getting 6 mm to 15 mm, as he is not completely infected with the TB, he is having a risk of infecting with TB, so he is prone to get TB. So should not be given BCG also, as BCG will indicate the positive test for the tuberculin skin test. And if it is greater than or equals to 15 mm, then it is strongly hypersensitive to tuberculin protein. Means it is a suggestive of TB infection or disease. So further investigation and further treatment should be provided. Other biological examination is cell count and the protein count, assays for the assays pleural effusion and meningitis. These are the other biological measures. So what is the preventive measures? Preventive measures means wearing mask, and if previously he is taken with the BCG vaccine, means he may not get TB infection, but it is not completely sure that if a vaccinated BCG vaccinated patient is not able to get TB. Regular medical follow-up and isolation of patient, proper ventilation, natural sunlight and UV germicidal irradiation. So what is the management? As first line drugs, we know that isoniazid, rifampin, rifabutin, ethambutol and pyrazinamide. What are the second line drugs? Cycloserine, ethionamide, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin and gatifloxacin, streptomycin, kanamycin or amikacin, capromycin. These are the management of the TB. But the most TB kit, anti-tubercular drugs kit includes only the 5 drugs, that is isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol, streptomycin. These are the 5 mostly used drugs for the TB for a 6 months duration of the time period. So what is the dosage regimen? As I told you, intensive period, that is nothing but initial phase, and continuous phase, which is initial phase is for 2 months and continuous phase is for 4 months. So this is the daily dosage schedule of the drugs. And dot therapy, other than this anti-tubercular kit, that is these 5 drugs, there is a dot therapy. Dot therapy is nothing but directly absorbed treatment, which is a short course of time, and it is nothing but a trained healthcare worker or other designated individual, or means a healthcare provider. They prescribe they provides the prescribed TB drugs and watches the patient swallow every dose. Means they will completely under follow up and under the guidance of the physician or any healthcare provider. They will watch for the every reaction. So this is, we call that as a dot therapy. So it is a sure cure for the TB. We call this as a sure cure for the TB, as it is under complete examination of the patient, physician. And multi-drug resistant TB, it is nothing but multi-drug resistant TB means this TB is caused by strains of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Means this is resistant to at least any of the drugs of anti-tubercular drugs. So this is resistant to isoniazid or rifampicin, means which is the most effective anti-TB drug. The most important drugs like isoniazid and rifampicin, if a person is resistant to these 2 drugs, then he will call it as then the condition is known as multi-drug resistance TB. So most globally 3.6% are estimated to have MDR TB. And extensively drug resistance TB means nothing but it is a form of bacteria where it is resistant to isoniazid and rifampicin, as well as any fluoroquinolones also, and any of the second line anti-tubercular injectable drugs. And multi-drug resistant TB means it is only resistance with isoniazid and rifampicin. Extensively means it is extended. To how extend means it is also resistant to fluoroquinolones and also any of the second line drugs. So this is about the TB.